Hello, I'm Elizabeth Nancy Jansen, and today is day one of my 22 Days of Truths to celebrate the launching of my book, Bride Doll. And I will be doing these 22 days consecutively, and today is day one, July 26th, 2021. And today's topic is I'm going to be smashing my suit of armor and taking it off forever. And I'll tell you about that suit of armor. I've been preparing and building this suit of armor, which started as a thin veneer of hiding behind this thin veneer as a young child. And I have an older sister, and she was taller, brighter, prettier. And then as I grew older into high school, feeling less than, starting from very humble beginnings, actually from scarcity of many things, including being from living in close to poverty. And feeling shame for that, not knowing otherwise. I shouldn't have been feeling shame, but I did. And the veneer getting thicker. And then in my young adult life and in my first relationship, of which I started at 14, then getting the veneer thickened into steel, starting to get into steel, and actually hiding behind this suit of armor, hiding the fact that I was in a controlled relationship, and putting on this smile face, but really being very unhappy and living under someone else's rules and not being able to be myself, walking on eggshells and not being happy at all, not living in any way, shape, or form in contentment, being fearful. And that is no way to live. And then being in another relationship where, the situation was not in any, there was no improvement in the contentment level. So in celebration of my book, I must tell you that contentment, there is a level of contentment, but for this person, this was a journey for me personally, and in my writing of the book, in a journey of love and finding love, and beautiful finding love. But I had to learn to love myself and to love others. And in now being my authentic self, I want to tell you honestly, authentically, that, I came from a place where, from that little girl and not having any form of security, where there was a lot of insecurity and chaos in my life, and there was mental illness in my family, and it continued to track in my family, and feeling shame about that, where I shouldn't have, but I did. And, the poverty, I shouldn't have felt shame, but I did at the time. And, the difficult relationship, I didn't have the inner emotional stability, the inner emotional strength and courage to not even enter a relationship like that. But I did, and suffered the consequences. So, now I want to tell you with all authenticity that I let my light shine. I'm taking that armor off, and I hope you can see the light in me, because I do not hide behind any armor, and I definitely am taking it off. And, there are things about me, in my second relationship and in the birth of my, following the birth of my fourth child, who is autistic, that was the biggest challenge for me. And, you know, it was a real growth situation for me and a huge challenge that I did not expect in life. And it literally brought me to my knees. And I think you've heard me speak about that. And I have to come clean to you about how that affected me and the people around me and my family. And I made some not so great choices about that. And this is where I'm taking off my armor just to you. And this is something I haven't done, and something that where I've really hidden behind my armor. And now, to be totally authentic to you, I have to come forward and disclose. And now that my book is coming out on August 17th, not that this is an autobiography, but to show how honest I want to be and true to my intentions of being the person I want to be, of honesty and integrity and all the good things of love and transparency. I want to come clean that I made wrong decisions, but I feel so much better for what it brought me through. So I self-medicated, and I used alcohol to self-medicate my way through the trials and tribulations of trying to manage my son who was autistic, who still is autistic. And I found it beyond what I could manage. And, you know, it was hugely difficult for me. And I'm not looking for sympathy or whatever. It's how I coped. And then it started out that it was helping me, but then alcohol turned on me. And it was a challenge, and I have to say that I eventually took responsibility for that and have been in recovery for since November 17th, 2008 is my sobriety date. And I'm very proud of my recovery, but it took a lot out of my family, and it has been a challenge for everyone, and it certainly has made me a better person, and I certainly have used my recovery and in what I do on a daily basis. So I just wanted you to know that, and there is in the main character, that element is in the book, and in a very positive way. And I wanted to bring that out to you as well today because, you know, there is a stigma toward addiction and toward alcoholism. And I wanted to be a face of that as well. You know, bad things happen to good people. And good people who take charge and be responsible and stand up again and again and try and do what they have to do to become responsible again and become better for it. And, you know, let's look out and help the people get back to get into recovery and never give up on those individuals, because look at the suicide rates, you know, and you know, this is a bit of an education point. So I really am shedding that suit of armor, and let's be kind to those people. And you know, I want to put down that suit of armor. I'm not going to hide the fact of who I am, and I take that as that part of me is not a bad piece of me. You know, the only thing I regret about it is how it hurt my family, and you know, but my husband today, he loves me so much for it and for the strength that I had to rise above it. And, you know, I help many, many people who are in recovery and trying to keep their sobriety today. And it brings so much more love to me. And I love that aspect of it. So that's part of my armor that I'm taking off, because I want to share that and not hide that aspect from you. So I hope that you take that information well, and I hope that when you think about or see people or hear about addiction, if you could remember this face and see that, yes, I was one of those people. And yes, I found recovery. And yes, I have the light of love in me, and the purpose of love, and to give love and to share love and to be successful in writing a beautiful love story. And yes, there's an element of recovery in it, but it's a beautiful love story. And you know, there isn't one person on earth, not one person, who walks through without challenges, you know? Oh, and my little puppy is trying to tell me about the challenges. So there isn't one person, you know, and people have multiple challenges often. So I encourage you to use empathy and to put lots of love in it and lots of gratitude for what we have, and choose to look inward and see with gratitude, you know, how we have each day. And let's put love in your day. And I really am taking off this suit of armor, and it's smashed. And you saw me smash it because, you know, there are many people who are just hearing this for the first time today, and you're one of them. Much love from me, Elizabeth Nancy Jansen.